Okay. Mm, mm, mm. All right. Yo, testing. Let's get into some analysis for the week. All right. So starting with GBP JPY, what we saw last week. If we have a quick look at the weekly candle, this is last week's weekly candle on GJ, this green box that's around it. So it closed bullish. Let's have a look on the actual weekly time frame. Let's have a look. So you can see it is an uptrend and it's done a small pullback on the weekly. Now I've got a bullish candle that's closed on Friday. So this could be support that has been formed on the weekly. So looking at the weekly, it has closed bullish. Didn't break previous weekly lows, didn't break previous weekly highs. We've got an inside bar here on the weekly, and it has gone up in this like channel to the upside. But it hasn't really done much in terms of moves. There's not really any big moves in here that's actually pushed price in a direction with any convincing fashion, like we can see with last week's candle. We can see that price came down quite effectively, respected previous weekly highs and broke previous weekly lows, and we had some really nice volume moves down here on GJ. And then this week we've kind of just trickled back up a little bit. So yeah, not really too much happened last week. So if we just get rid of this analysis now, we can see that we have a new weekly candle, which is this green box. This is a weekly candle here on the 30-minute time frame. We can see that yeah, we've had an inside bar. Inside bar basically means a candle that didn't break the lows and didn't break the highs, and it just played around within the previous candle, right? So this is an inside bar candle. Last week it did close bullish, but overall, if we have a look at the weekly, we can see a nice bearish candle here, weekly candle. You can see it's in a big red box. That means it closed bearish. And then we had this very nice weekly candle, which respected the highs and broke the lows, closed bearish, closed pretty strong bearish. And now we've had this pullback here for this weekly candle this week. So if I just mark in this, we can see that this trend line is what is keeping price up at the moment. So in terms of weekly, so looking at tomorrow now, looking at next week, we've got our new weekly levels, which is right here. You can see there, weekly, we got weekly high. And then we have weekly low down in here, which we can extend to this nice little support area right here. And bring to front, center back. And then we can draw on our weekly low right here. So in terms of next week, we've got our weekly highs and weekly lows, but it didn't really do much last week, right? So we can't really use those levels too much. So we'll just mark them up, and we could potentially, if this bullish move is going to continue, we can potentially see a break above last week's weekly high coming into this new week, where we can look for buy trades, right? So we can look for buys above this level if we get closures. But I would say that price would need to make a bottom wick first for the weekly, so it might open up, do something like this, move down, and then move up and close above for us to continue bullish if this trend is going to continue. Or this could just be a short pullback on the weekly perspective. If we take a look at the weekly time frame real quick, it could be a small pullback to continue bearish, but I would say looking at it, price is obviously in an uptrend. We've had this very nice move up. We've pulled back, like a small pullback here. So now we could be continuing bullish at this point. Now we've got this weekly bullish candle closure. So I would say it's in the balance at the moment, right? Because price is clearly more in a downtrend than it is an uptrend, because we have our key levels right here as price is moving down, right? So until I'd say price breaks above this level, then price, for me, I would say is still in that short-term downtrend. So we could see a break of this trend, and we could see that sell-off coming in. What we might even do as well is touch up into these previous weekly levels, get some rejection in there, and then sell off, breaking this trend and continuing down towards these previous weekly lows. We could see that, or we could see closures above. We'd even wait for a break and a retest of this level to make sure that price is going to sustain above these weekly highs, and then continue bullish, and we can look for trades once that has happened. So yeah, those are our weekly levels. Looking at the Trinity phase, we can see we've got we've still got 1 day left over here for these levels to play out. So if we go like this, we've got previous Trinity phase levels right here, which you can see as price has broken, retested on these levels, and we can see that now from this point we've created a low, we've created a high, now we've created a new low, and we've broken the previous highs. So again, that would say to me that price is in that uptrend, and we could be seeing that move of next week, which then would see the weekly, start seeing the weekly candles show that bullishness as well, now that price has potentially pulled back, and it's going to continue bullish from the weekly perspective and the Trinity perspective. So yeah, we can mark these levels in. I wouldn't really worry too much because that's a weekly lows as well, but we've got this level, Trinity phase. This would be phase 2. That'd be Trinity phase 1. Trinity phase 1 that has been broken. Why didn't this candle not go to the highs? There we go. So yeah, we've got Trinity phase 1 level that has been broken, so that would signify break of structure potentially, which also then would mean give us that opportunity to look for those buys to the upside. You can see that price broke and retested this level, this Trinity phase level. Looking at the daily, we can see clearly on the daily that we are in this uptrend on the daily perspective, and we can see now that we're on Friday we continued that. So we've got from this point here, this would have been break of structure of the daily perspective, right? So that would have been break of structure right there, and then we started in the uptrend. So we broke the highs, respected the lows, broke the highs, respected the lows. This one was an inside bar, but then on Friday we broke the highs and we've respected the lows. So we are slowly pushing into that uptrend phase rather than this continuing this downtrend phase that we've seen. We've broke out of that, and like I said earlier, even though we are trickling up slowly, it still is an uptrend, and we can potentially expect a big move now that the weekly candle has closed. Last week was a little bit slow, a little bit of consolidation in there, even though it did respect the uptrend. So now we could see this potential now. So we could come down for another spike back into Trinity phase 1 before we start continuing back up. Closures above this level to take buys once price breaks that previous candle right there, which is what I would be looking for potentially. So now on the daily perspective, we do have daily phase 1, which would be our break of structure, which price has respected now. So we just mark that in there like that, daily. I'll just lock that in so we can see now that this is a pretty solid level, right? Because now if price does want to break Trinity phase 1, it would come down and also break daily phase 1, which would break of structure, and then we could potentially see that closure below this trend line to continue bearish. And then we can look for going into next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we can look for that sell-off if that does happen right below this level right here, trend line, and these two levels, because we know that this is a strong support now. Price should stay above this level if it wants to continue. So yeah, let me just pull this up real quick. So that is GJ. That is GJ. All right. So yeah, from the weekly perspective, the higher time frame, you would say that it has started this new downtrend, and this could just be that slow pullback. And then once we get the break over here, then we could see price start to really sell off. But then of course we'd have to wait for these levels to be broken and a break below this trend line, and only when that happens is when we can start looking for sales, right? So once price does that, we can look for sales. But as of now, as of tomorrow, what I'll be looking for is continuation here. We do have weekly high, and we also have daily phase 2, which we can look for buys above in here as well, right? So we've got weekly level, we've got daily phase 2, which would be trend continuation, and also be break of trend from the weekly perspective. Because if we have a look on the weekly, we can see that we've got a bearish candle, we've respected it, and we broke the lows, and now we have this inside bar candle on the weekly. So it's either going to tap in this weekly and turn bearish for this short pullback, or it's going to just make a bottom wick and continue bullish going into next week, breaking previous weekly highs. So that's what I'll be looking for. So what I'd want to see, is just a nice bottom wick when markets open tomorrow. I'd like to see a nice bottom wick created for the weekly perspective, so price to come down like this, and then price to start making its way up, and turn bullish, breaking these previous weekly highs is what I would look for. Do I have, yeah, something like this? Let me get that. So what I'd want is something like this, right? Break above. So this is what I'd be looking for, right? Something like that. I'm not sure how to use this. Okay, and let me just change it to a nice blue color. All right, so I'd want price to come down into here, and then I'd want price to start doing this and then break out. I keep picking up it, but yeah, something like that would be good, just to create that bottom wick and then flip bullish to follow this trend that is currently happening. And until this trend is broken, until we see breaks back below these levels and this trend line, then I will only be looking for buys. So that's GJ. So yeah, GJ looking at buys above weekly high. All right. Buys above previous weekly high right here. So that's what we're looking for on GJ. Very nice. Very, very nice. Moving on to Euro USD, we can see again last week did consolidate a fair bit. Let me just delete these alerts now. New day. So I did catch a trade last week on Euro USD, and it was this one right here above previous weekly highs. So here was the previous weekly highs, not last week but the week before. And then you can see that price popped up above it right here, closed above, and then I had an entry right in here, 4 pips above, around about, was around about in there, with a, I think it was a 15 pip stop, was it? 15 or 20 pip stop below that wick, and you can see got that 1 to 5 right there. So that was the only trade I took on Euro USD last week. Worked out beautifully. Did get, obviously got help from the news here, PPI coming in and spiking price up into our take profit with this candle right there in one candle. So that was good. And then it kind of just consolidated for the rest of the week. So not too much else happened. You can see that we played around that previous weekly high. You can see here, broke above it, then came to retest, broke back below, retested it, rejected, broke above, broke below, broke above, retested, broke below, played around, retested, broke below. It literally just played around this weekly high the whole week. And you can see late Friday night, we broke below, retested it, and then sold off. And we did have that existing home sales as well. So we just remove that, and we just look at our weekly perspective now. You can see if we zoom out, price is in an uptrend. On the weekly, we can see that this last 2 weeks ago now, we broke out of this weekly candle. We broke above it, came down, retested, made a low, and continued bullish. So we can see that it broke the highs and it respected the lows of the previous weekly candle. And then we tried to push up again the start of this week, and then we kind of just consolidate for the rest of the week. So weekly is bullish on Euro USD, the higher time frame. So that's weekly perspective is bullish on the Euro USD. So we can just mark in our weekly levels right here, weekly high and also weekly low right there. So these are our weekly levels now. Right, and we can see that we made the support, and then we came up and we tapped off it again. We made the support on the 14th, we tapped off it on the 16th and tried to continue, and then we just played in between the weekly low and high that was printed early on in the week, and we just consolidated. So yeah, weekly perspective is bullish on Euro USD. Just by zooming out, you can also see that. We can see that, you know, apart from this candle, this higher pullback candle right here, we broke out that again and continued that bullish trend with this nice weekly candle here. So we can see that it did respect the lows and break highs, but it did close bearish. You can see this big red box around the weekly candle. It did close bearish on the weekly. So we just go to the weekly time frame and have a quick look. Looks very interesting, doesn't it, on Euro USD on the weekly? So this is the weekly time frame. It does look very interesting, right? Because if we just look straight away, we can see we've got this level right here that if we just delete you and delete you, we can see that it pushed up into this support resistance. You can see here it was support, broke below, retested with 1 wick and then dropped, and that was all the way back in August. and now we've come up to retest that level. So this is a key level here on Euro USD. This could 100% reject at this point. So if I just, what color can I do this? If I just left that there and maybe colored it a blue color, that's a little bit too bright, isn't it? Maybe this one, center back. And I just dim that a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. And then we go back to the 30. We can see that we are testing in that level as we speak. Try to break above it. Came back below. So it could be interesting to leave that level on and see what happens, but we should start selling off now. So with that in mind, right, if we mark up our charts again with this weekly high and low, what could we look for here? So now obviously we are tapping into this high impact zone. So now what we could look for is a break below previous weekly lows here, and that would indicate to us then that price is going to respect this key level and it's going to turn bearish at that point. But we want to see structure being broken, right? So we want to see this previous weekly low get taken out. But first of all, we could see something like this pop back above, create a top wick, and then come down. So don't let that fool you. So basically all we'd wait for is either price to make a bottom wick first and then break above, where we can continue the buys, continue the bullish bias, the bullish trend. Or what we can wait for is price to wick up, make a top wick on the weekly, and then break previous weekly low, where we could then take sales because price is at that key level, and it could potentially, at that point, you would expect it to reverse from there. Just have a quick drink. So we're just going to leave this here. I might even dim that a little bit more. It's a little bit too bright for my liking. Maybe we just put it on 10%. So we know that this level now is where price could potentially reverse from, right? And we can see that price has stalled once it's got to this level, right? Price is, look at price, right? Bullish, 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 got to this level, and now it's going sideways a little bit. So this is a key level. If we look at Trinity phase time frame, we can see again, this is also the Trinity phase time frame, which also encaptures the weekly highs and the weekly lows. So I don't need to do much with that. And then we can see that the daily has started to break down, right? This is where it's key. This is where we can look for our entries now. We can see that from this point, we were creating lows, higher lows and higher highs on the daily time frame, right? Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we started to consolidate, and then we respected previous daily highs here and broke previous daily lows, right? So now from the daily perspective, we're starting to break down. We did have an inside bar on Friday, but we can see that price is heavily rejecting this level now. So what we can do, price on the daily time frame has already flipped bearish at this point. So this would be daily phase 1, which would be break of support again back to the upside. And we also have daily phase 2, which would be trend continuation. So what would probably be wise at this point would be, let me just do daily. What would be wise at this point is to maybe wait for a break of the previous weekly low, right? So going into next week, we can look for a spike up into previous daily highs, potentially make that top wick for the weekly candle, and then we can look for it to sell off and close below these weekly levels here, right? That is what we'd want to look for. How much is this range between this and this? Okay, there's like a 40 or so pip range. So what I would do is I would look for closures below previous daily lows right here. So daily phase 2, and then we can look for a break out of there. And we'll see once price gets to this previous weekly low what it does, if it wants to break it, if it wants to reject it, and we could potentially look to close, move stops to break even, things like that, lessen our risk. So that's what I'll be looking for. Sales here below daily phase 2. Sales below daily phase 2 at this point, right? So this is where I'd be looking for sales on Euro USD next week. Although price is an uptrend on the weekly and the Trinity phase time frame, we can see that price is at a key level just by looking at the weekly, and it is starting to break down on the daily perspective, right? We've had 2 bearish candles on the daily perspective, and we're respecting highs and breaking lows. And now we have an inside bar on the daily, which also would indicate once we break out of this inside bar, once we break out of this range, that we will have a big move. And I feel like that could be to the downside, right? So that's what I'll be looking at on Euro USD. That is my analysis at this point. I don't know if we can draw something like this, right? We've got this kind of trend line right here, which price is also 1, 2, 3, also currently rejecting and has rejected. It's closed bullish. So we can look at something like this as well. Once that breaks, that could also be another indication of momentum to the downside. USDCHF. Let's have a look at USDCHF. Remove these alerts. So last week, we can see that we did continue that downtrend on USD, because we had this strong bearish candle that broke the lows, respected highs, and then now we broke the lows and we didn't break previous weekly highs. So we are in a downtrend, but this did close bullish and we did break out of that range. So we'd have to wait and see now for USDCHF and see if it's going to continue its uptrend or if it's going to continue back to the downside. Let me just do this. And also that would be then weekly high. And that would be weekly low. And I'm not going to draw a box in here because that would just be way too big. Actually, might as well just draw it in there, just so we know. Because we can see that we bounced off this level a couple of times right here, big rejection wick, and then we came back and tested it with the bodies, and then that's where this move to the upside started. Once it tapped back into these weekly lows. We just do that. All right, so we've got our weekly highs and weekly lows. Weekly candle, last week's candle did close bullish, but we did break the lows and respect the highs. So I would still consider it, yeah, to be in a somewhat downtrend at the moment. Let's just draw in our Trinity phase levels. Trinity phase, please. Hello, 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 hello. Give me my levels. So we have Trinity phase. That'd be Trinity phase 1, right? Which would indicate a break of structure, which is exactly what happened. We can see that the price was in that downtrend, and then we broke up. We broke that Trinity phase 1 level, which would again indicate break in structure and change of direction in trend, which is what we saw, right? Because we saw price trending down. Boom, boom, boom. And then once price broke above this Trinity phase 1 level, we can see it retested it. Boom, boom. And now it's continuing bullish. So very key levels. Very key levels, Trinity phase levels. And this would be Trinity phase 2, which would have been trend continuation at that point. But it's also weekly lows now, so we don't need to mark that in. So at this point, we can see that because we've broken these Trinity phase 1 levels, we're starting to see that break of structure and price start moving to the upside, potentially to retrace some of these levels, right? How's the music, guys? Is it too loud? Let me just check. Okay, I don't like that. Let me just check the volume. Seems fine. The music isn't too loud. Just let me know if the music's too loud. Anyway, so continuing with USD CHF, so we could start to see that move to the upside now to retrace some of this move here that we saw to the downside. We could be seeing the retracement coming now, right? Because we've consolidated, tested in this level, we've bounced, and now we've broke structure to the upside. So we could be seeing that retracement coming in. So what I'd be looking for next week, obviously, is a closure above this level and then break of that to continue bullish, right? We're looking for a breakout of this weekly high. But I would like to see price tap in coming into the start of next week, drop down a little bit to create that weekly bottom wick, because we want to see those bottom wicks, top wicks be created from the weekly perspective. And then I'd want to see price push up like this. So that's what I'll be looking at for on USD CHF. Looking at the daily perspective, you can see that now we've started that uptrend, right? We've started that retracement. We did have 3 bullish candles here, but they, you know, this one still respected highs and broke lows. So that would still mean that it would be respecting that bearish structure. And then we had this inside bar candle, and then we had the breakout, tap, and then continuation here. So I would expect price, looking at it from this point perspective, that it would continue bullish, but obviously would have to break this level. And you might want to see a break and a retest of this level just to solidify the fact that we're gonna close above those previous weekly highs, and we're gonna stay above it. That's gonna support price to allow it to continue further up during the week. So I'd want to see something like that on Monday. If we're gonna break out of here, I'd want to see a break and a little test of this level again. Okay, we broke above weekly highs and we're going to continue, and that would give us good confidence and confirmation to do so. Looking at the daily, yeah, we've got our daily phase 1 levels right here, which would be break of structure back down to the downside. And obviously we have daily phase 2, which is also the weekly highs as well. So we're just going to leave it at that as our level where we're going to look for buys above. So again, buys above weekly high. All right, so that's USD CHF. Buys above previous weekly high to continue this move to the upside. And then of course, if we do have a move down, would want to see breaks of daily levels. So daily phase 1, we can see right here, break of structure, and also potential break back below Trinity phase 1, and some retest of that to continue bearish, then back down to follow the overall weekly structure. And if we just take a look at the chart, if we zoom out, we can see that price is obviously trending to the downside. So that's what we're looking for at USD CHF. And last but not least, gold. Again, if you follow any of the other social media channels, or even if you follow the YouTube channel, you would have seen that I did take these buys on gold right here. And we caught around about 70 pips. And also caught these. So we caught these buys here on gold last week above this weekly level. So we caught those. You'll see that on my YouTube channel as well. If you go and look at some of the videos, some of the shorts and some of the analysis, you would have seen that I caught these buys right here for around about 70 pips. And I also caught these sells here for around about 80 pips. So if you just go onto the YouTube channel and if you want to take a look at those trades real quick, if you just go on, you'll see them here. These were the sells that I was talking about. So I go over the sells right there. You can see that's before it happened. That's me entering, and then you can see the trade hitting take profit over here. So that's that one. That was this one right here. So this moved down here, and then also gold buys. These are the gold buys right there. You can see there's me entering, and then there's the trade afterwards, and that was this move right here. So those were the gold trades that I caught last week, and now you can see that we are trending to the downside, right? We have broke that structure now after this move up, and we are trending to the downside. So if we take a look at the weekly, this is our weekly candle. It did respect lows and break highs, but now it did close bearish, and I will mark out this whole level. It's a little bit of a big level. I don't really like marking out levels like this, so I might actually just move it up into these levels right here. So we've got a nice clean zone, and we don't have this massive zone on our charts. So that's the previous weekly high on gold. We just mark that in, weekly high, right? And we also now have weekly lows, which were just created as market closed on Friday. Well, Friday for me in Australia, wherever it might be Saturday for you if you're in America or something like that. So we see now that we do have our weekly highs and lows, right? And if we just zoom out, we can see that gold is clearly in an uptrend. This is last week's weekly candle, this green box. So we respected previous weekly lows, broke previous weekly highs, and then this week or last week we broke previous highs and we respected previous lows, obviously, which are down here. But this candle, it did create a very significant resistance, and it also did close bearish. And if we look at Trinity levels, we can see that we have broke previous Trinity levels to the downside, which is right here, which can be significant. Could definitely mean change of direction in the market short term. So we can see here, this was Trinity phase 1, which if Trinity phase 1 does get broken, it could potentially, or it means that price is breaking structure, and you're going to see a change in direction of the market, right? So this was the market trending to the upside, and now we broke Trinity phase 1, and now we can potentially see or expect to see price start trending or trading to the downside. So yeah, we broke those levels. We could potentially now be coming up for a retest in here before we sell off next week, creating also the top wick for the weekly candle, which would make sense. And if we look at the daily, we can see that price definitely turned bearish, and this is why I took this trade here on gold, right? This was the trade that I took. If we just look at the daily, right? So that was daily phase 1. And what does daily phase 1 mean? If that breaks, that means break of structure. You can see right there, BOS, daily phase 1. We can see that we broke it, and this is where I entered, right, for the sales, because we respected previous daily highs, right? Respected previous daily highs right here, inside bar, and then we made a top wick and we broke previous daily lows. So, that signifies to me that price is breaking structure, and the change of direction is coming in the market, and that was around about 75 pips. And you can see that it did come up and retest into this level again before it continued down, right? So it came back up, retested in here, and then sold off to the downside. So I believe until some of this structure starts getting broken, I believe price is still going to start continuing to trade to the downside. And now we have a very nice base for price to continue. So if we mark out our daily levels, we can see now that we are clearly in a downtrend on the daily perspective, because we've got daily highs, daily lows, and then we broke daily lows, respected daily highs, new high, new low, right? So we're creating lower lows and lower highs on the daily perspective. So now we have daily phase 1 right here at 176.7735. Let me just lock that in and we can create our nice zones here now. Right, so that's daily phase 1. And we also have daily phase 2, which is also the weekly low, which would mean trend continuation, right? So what I'd be looking for now on gold going into next week is sales below weekly low, right? So sales below weekly low now. But first of all, what I'd want to see is price create that top wick on from the weekly perspective, right? So if you take a look at the weekly candle, we want to see next week the weekly candle come up, right? Create that top wick. And then we want to see sell off. So sales below weekly low, we just want to break below like that, and then we want to see price break that low as it starts coming down, and that's where I'll take sales. And if price does want to turn around, then what I would expect to see, if price is going to turn bullish again, then I'd want to see close back above Trinity phase 1, start trending to the upside, and then I'd want to see price break the daily phase 1 to the upside, and that will signify to me that price again has broke structure, and then it wants to continue trading to the upside to follow this overall move, right? But as of now, as of tomorrow, next week, the start of the new trading week, the open of the markets, what I'll be looking for is price to just retrace a little bit, create a top wick from the weekly, and then come down and close below this weekly low level, and continue bearish. And that's where I'll be looking for my sales on gold. Looking at news, durable goods, new home sales, FOMC minutes, not too major. FOMC could be something that we'd look out for, but not too significant at the moment. So I think next week potentially be smooth sailing. Nothing on GBP, JPY, and then obviously we have these on the USD pairs. But again, just to recap, buys above previous weekly high on GJ, right? So again, what we want to see is price make a bottom wick for the weekly perspective, come up, close above this previous weekly high, and that's when we will look for our trades. Once price breaks out at this level, we can look for buys above weekly high of 167.322. Euro USD, we're looking for sales below daily phase 2 here, and then looking to write it down into that previous weekly low, and we'll see what happens once we get to there. If we start rejecting, we move our stops to break even, but we look for price to continue bearish at that point. All right, but we want to also, again, we want to see that top wick formed on the weekly perspective, and then we want to start selling off, right? So again, GJ buys above previous weekly high, Euro USD sells below daily phase 2, which would be 1.03138. USD CHF buys above previous weekly high, which would be 0.95576. And then gold, we want sales below previous weekly low of 1747555. So that is my analysis for these pairs. If you guys have any other pairs that you want me to analyze real quick, let me know in the chat, and we'll go over those real quick. Or if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts on my analysis, let me know what you guys think of this analysis. If you agree with it, if you don't agree with it. But yeah. Also, if you want to watch any of the trades that I take, they are on my YouTube channel on the short section and also in the analysis section. I pre-analyze the markets an hour before the London market opens every day on YouTube. I live stream it, do my analysis for the day, and then I update later on in the day with shorts and things like that of the trades that I take, or I update them on Twitter, things like that, if you guys want to follow those. But that is that. Let's take a quick look at DXY actually. let's have a look at the dollar index. And let's see what's happening with the dollar index. I mean, it looks very similar to USD/CHF, right? Which would make sense, of course. USD/CHF, zoom out, dollar index. It looks very similar. But yeah, let's do our analysis on that. Again, you can see the same as USD/CHF. We are in that consolidation, whereas the DXY hasn't broken out of this consolidation. It still remains in it. As you can see, this is the high of it. We've tapped it and we haven't broke out of it, whereas USD/CHF has broke out of it, right? So that's something different that we could potentially see a breakout now that the DXY is going to follow. And we could see a breakout of this level, or we could see USD/CHF, of course, fall again if DXY doesn't break out this level. But let's have a look at the weekly. We can see that previous weekly again was the same as a very strong bearish candle, closed very strong bearish, and now this week we have our highs that came in. So weekly high, right? Let's lock that in. Weekly high. So we can see that on Friday, we came into these weekly highs, current weekly highs. We tapped in and we rejected and we came down, right? So we are respecting those highs. So that is showing, proving to be significant level. Right, and then we have our weekly lows. So this is our weekly perspective, right? It did close bullish. What's up, innocent boy? What's happening, dude? Welcome back. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the streams. I'm going to be doing pre-London analysis now. So I'm actually streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time through Restream, because streaming at the time that I usually stream on Twitch, it's like 11 PM for me, and I usually go for around about 1-2 AM, and it's just like I end up being way too tired, and I wake up quite late the next morning, and I've got a child now, like the baby's been born, so me going to bed late and waking up late is just like, it just doesn't work. So I'm going to start doing pre-London analysis streams, so that'll be obviously a lot earlier, and it's when I'll first get onto the charts, do my analysis for the day before London Open, and then obviously, yeah, that'll be hard on Twitch. That's why I've also started streaming on YouTube as well, because obviously at that time on Twitch there's not very many people around in the stocks and bonds section. So but yeah, so yeah, the DXY, if we want to keep an eye on the DXY going into next week, we can see that it hasn't broken out of these weekly highs. It came up on Friday, tried to break it but rejected it, and now it's starting to come up again. It obviously is overall bearish. If we have a look at the weekly perspective here on the 30-minute, we can see that price is obviously trending to the downside. You don't need an indicator or anything to tell you that. It's pretty obvious, you know, price is bearish. It's in a downtrend currently. So for the DXY, you could potentially just wait. If dollar strength is going to come in, then it obviously needs to break this level, and continue bullish, and then next week we'll see USD pairs obviously gain strength. If it doesn't, and if it comes up and taps in here and rejects again and starts moving down to previous weekly lows, then obviously we will see US bears dollar weakness come into the market next week on some USD pairs. So that would mean Euro USD would gain, it would get stronger, and things like USD CAD, USD CHF should again start selling off and be bearish for the week, or you know, for a couple of days or wherever. So it'll be interesting to see what happens around this level for the DXY, right, the dollar index. If it rejects it, it's going to start moving down to previous weekly lows. We could look for buys on Euro USD, which is a pair I trade. We could look for buys on gold. Gold will get stronger, Euro USD would get stronger. Things like USD CHF, USD CAD, USD JPY would get weak, and we could look for sells. We could look for sell opportunities, of course, on those pairs. So that's the weekly. Looking at the Trinity phase, we can see again same levels as the weekly. So these are pretty decently strong levels that we can definitely rely on. Looking at the daily, we can see that it has obviously, it was in this downtrend. We can see highs, lower highs, lower highs. We can see lows, lower lows, and then we had this inside bar candle on Thursday, right? That didn't break the highs, didn't break the lows, kind of just consolidated for the day. And then on Thursday, sorry, it had this breakout. So it came up, made a bottom wick, respected previous lows, and then broke the highs. And then on Friday, again, we had another inside bar candle where we created a low and we started pushing up, but we couldn't break the highs over here. So again, what we'd wait for now, we've got daily phase 2, which would be trend continuation at this point. And lows, which would be daily phase 1 at this point. What's up, Davy? I really want to understand how analysis works, but I find myself confused always. What do you find confusing about it, my guy? What aspect? Like all of it, or like, are you confused on what time frame to choose? Things like that. What exactly are you confused about? But yeah, so going into next week on DXY, this could give us a real insight into, like I said, the pairs that you want to trade. So obviously, again, we're in a downtrend. So price wants to come up and make a new top wick for the week, reject this area and start moving down. That would enable us to then start looking at buys on Euro USD, buys on gold, because that would mean dollar weakness, which would then mean that pairs paired off against the USD would start to get stronger, and pairs like USD CAD, USD CHF, USD JPY would obviously get weaker, and you could look for sells on those if the technicals align with the fundamentals, right? If everything works out fine, you start to see dollar weakness and you start seeing nice trade setups with whatever your strategy is, then you can look for those sell or buy opportunities. So it could be a good idea to watch this. And then again, obviously, if we start breaking out of these previous weekly highs, then that's dollar strength. We could start looking at, again, sells on Euro USD, sells on gold, buys on USD CHF, buys on USD CAD, buys on USD JPY. You're not trying to slow me down? Don't worry, you're not slowing me down. You're not slowing me down at all. This is the reason why I do these videos, so that people can come through and ask questions. I'm confused on how analysis works. So, okay, I'll take you through how I analyze the market, right? From top to bottom. So this is how I would do it. So, do you trade a specific pair, David? Or what would you like me to analyze here? Do you want me to do gold? Do you like gold? XAU USD? And I'll do a quick analysis. I'll do a quick breakdown, or just a breakdown. Yeah, gold. Okay, so let me delete everything, right? So this is a clean chart. Clean chart. And this is on the 30-minute time frame, okay? So this is on the 30-minute time frame. This is the time frame that I like to trade personally. I think it's the best for day trading, but it's also a good time frame for confirmation. So it's not, I don't like trading the 5-minute time frame because for me personally, I feel like it doesn't give enough confirmations. It's too quick and you can get a lot of false moves, right? Hi, honey. So I like the 30-minute time frame. So what I look for on the 30-minute time frame and what indicators I use, so you can see these appear multi-time period charts. This is just the weekly, right? This is just the weekly time frame here. So this red box was the whole of last week's weekly candle. So if I just go to the weekly time frame here, this is last week's candle right here, this red candle, right? That's everything that happened last week in one candle. So if I just go to the 30-minute and I turn on this, this shows me the whole of last week's candle in this red box. And it's red, so that means it closed bearish. And then I can see the weekly candle before that. We can see a big green candle right here. This closed bullish and it broke previous weekly highs and respected lows. So all this is just weekly candles. And that's higher time frame analysis. So what we look for with analysis is a direction in the market, right? So we want to see if price, through our analysis, we want to see if price is going to go up or if it's going to go down. And that is all that we are looking at, right? And what I would use from this, if I just zoomed out and turn this off, you can see that price is moving in one direction, right? You can see that price is moving up clearly, right? So this means that price is in an uptrend because we have highs right here, right? Highs and lows. Right, that's messy. We have highs and lows, and then we have new highs and new lows, and then we have new highs and new lows, and new highs and new lows, right? So that is the market trending up. It's going up, right? And if price wants to continue going up, it needs to respect these levels. But then what do you see here? You can see that we have this level, right? So this is the support, this is the low, a higher low. And then now price starts to break it, right? You can see that. Price is starting to come down. It's broke these lows. And now what do we have? We have lows, highs, right? Highs, new lows, new highs, and now new lows. So now you can see over here, we had highs and lows, right? Because the market is going up over here and over here, highs and lows. But now we have lows and highs. So that means that now that the market is trending to the downside. So that means that we want to start looking for sells, right? So now going into next week, we want to look for sells. Why? Because if we have a look at the daily time frame, if we just go to the daily, we can see now that, right, if I just marked in these, we got lows, 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 and highs, highs, highs. So currently market is trending to the downside. We are in a downtrend from the daily perspective, right? How long that lasts, nobody knows. We just have to ride it until we start seeing price then start moving back to the upside and breaking highs and respecting lows. So what I would look for is, now I would mark in my weekly level. So this is the weekly time frame, right? So this is weekly high, previous weekly high right there, and previous weekly low right here. Right, so that's our weekly highs and weekly lows. So this is just simple analysis, right? Just marking out your levels, simple analysis. You don't really have to do too much with these levels. This is just a guide. This is just guiding you, right? These levels are just guiding you and helping you paint a picture of the overall structure and things like that. So these are our weekly highs and weekly lows. And we can clearly see now that price is trending down. We can see that, right? Price is moving down. You can see here clearly that price is moving up from here, moving up. And now we can see that price is moving down. So we're just looking to take advantage of that. I'm not looking to see where price is going to find a bottom and start going bullish again. I'm not trying to find tops and bottoms. I'm just literally wanting to follow price, to follow a trend. So how do I do that? We can go to the daily time frame. So now this is the daily candles right now. This is one whole daily candle, another whole daily candle, and another whole daily candle. And what can we see? We can see that the daily candles are creating highs and lows and highs and lows and highs and lows. So price is trending to the downside, right? We've established that already. So where I would look for a trade now, if you go onto my YouTube channel, you can see that a trade on gold that I took last week was this trade right here. Right, this was a trade that I took. I've already showed it previously, but if you go here on my YouTube channel, you will see that I took the sales right here. Gold sales, right? And you can see you can see when I entered right here. Right, this is where I entered. And then you can see afterwards, there's the 1 to 2 risk reward hit, winning trade. So that was this trade right here. So what happened was this candle respected the previous daily highs, right? Here's the previous daily highs. You can see that the next day it came in, tested it, rejected it, coming down. And then this next daily candle broke the lows of the previous daily highs, right? So that would signify break of structure, break of trend, change of trend direction, change of, there's loads of different names you can call it. So this is where I entered right here. Once price closed below that level and started breaking previous low, I had I think it was a 30 pip stop loss, right? 30 pip stop loss. And I had a 1 to 2 risk reward set, which was right there. So that was a trade that was 60 pips, a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. And that is just simple trend analysis and break of trend. So now looking at tomorrow, going into the next week, we can see that we have a previous daily high right here. And we have a previous daily low down here, which is also the weekly low. And we have our daily phase 1, which would mean break of structure. If price came up now and broke this level, that would mean break of structure back to the upside. But we also have trend continuation sells now below this level, right? Because price is trending down. We can see that just by looking at the trend, right? We can see that just by analyzing highs and lows, right? Lows, new lows, new lows, new lows. And we've got highs, new highs, new highs, and we've yet to make new highs, right? So we can tell that price is trending to the downside multiple ways, but the easiest way to do it is just by looking at higher time frames, right? So we just pull up our daily time frame. Is this? Yeah. We just pull up our daily time frame, our daily candles, and again we can see that price is respecting daily highs and breaking daily lows. So that would mean price is in the downtrend, and all I'm looking to do is continue to trade that, right? So again, I'll just be looking at something like this, right? So a candle, this is a 30-minute candle, to close below this level, and then you'd want to see break that previous low to continue bearish, and that's all I'll be looking for. So analysis, David, is basically just you trying to find out a direction, right? You're trying to find out where the market is heading, where it could be heading, and you're reacting to it when it happens, right? So all you need to do is just mark up your key levels, look at trend, look at the way candles are forming, look at price action, and you will be able to understand analysis a bit more, right? And if we take a look at last week, and I just go onto the daily, we just pull up our daily time frame candles, and we just look for a trend, right? We just look for a trend to form somewhere along here. So we can say that we have this bullish candle right here, right? Bullish candle respects previous daily lows and breaks previous daily highs and starts moving up, yeah? So at that point, you'd want this candle then to come up and break above previous daily highs during this day, but it doesn't, right? It just rejects it and then it falls. then it comes down and breaks the lows and then shoots all the way up. So there wouldn't be any trade that day, but then again we break, you know, we go bullish again, nice strong bullish candle, boom. So then this day would look for breaks above previous daily highs right there, but it doesn't. Again, it respects it, rejects it, rejects it, rejects it, and then we get the break right here. So then this comes in, nice strong move up, we close above, and we can look for a breakout, right? We enter our trade right here as price starts breaking that previous 30-minute. Our stops would go just below the candle that we entered on. So our stops would go below here. And then we can look to take whatever you want to do, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 even, you know, wherever you want to take it to, whatever your strategy is. But basically we're looking at a trend, we're looking at a trend to form, and then we're looking for that trend to continue with breaks above previous daily highs or lows, right? And again, that's all this trade was that I took. And also this trade right here, again, we can see that price was in an uptrend, right? Nice uptrend, respecting daily lows, breaking daily highs, and then we get the closure above. And again, this is where I entered. Stops below that previous 30-minute. Right, and 1 to 2 risk reward ratio right there. And again, that one was took, you can see that I took that right here. This is that exact same setup. Here's when I just entered, and then you can see it smashed it almost straight away. So that is all I'm looking for, basically. Trend, a strong trend, and then trend continuation, right? Using the weekly time frame, the Trinity phase time frame, which is a secret time frame that I use, which I don't see anybody else use, which I'm going to keep a secret because it's important to my strategy, and it's took a long time for me to learn this strategy. And then also daily time frame. So daily is very important, right? So even if we just look at the daily and we just take a look at the trend, and we can just follow this trend right here, we can say, okay, we're in an uptrend at this point, right? Because we got lows, we got lows, highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then inside bar, so we don't break lows, don't break highs, and then we come down that next day and we break the lows, right? And we come up and we reject that previous daily high candle, reject at the bodies, reject, come down, close bearish, and then this one closes below that previous daily low and continues bearish. And then again, you can look for closures below this daily low to continue bearish, which it did do, but it closed below. But then this next 30-minute candle didn't come down and break that previous 30-minute low, which is important, right? So you'd want this green candle that closed here, you'd want it to come down below and break this 30-minute to continue bearish, just like this one did here, right? So we closed below, and then this next candle broke that previous 30-minute low, and we got that nice breakout trade to the downside. But again, that was 2 a.m. in the morning for me. I do not trade past 1 a.m. I would not be awake during that time. So there was no trades for me there. But yeah. Also, if you guys are interested, I have just uploaded a video called 5 Rules That Made Me a Profitable Trader. A lot of really good information on there. If you want to go and copy those rules, I highly recommend them. They're definitely what changed my whole trading experience around completely, turned me from being a losing break-even trader to a profitable trader 100%. You can see the 5 things that are up in the above the video here, but definitely go watch that video. It can definitely help you if you're new to trading, or if you've been trading a while and you're struggling to be profitable. They can definitely, those 5 things can definitely help you, push you over the edge. But yeah, I hope that helped. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Dave. I hope that helped. If you're still in here, and I will be live again. I'm live every day of the week, Monday to Friday, and Sunday, just for an hour, just to do some pre-market analysis. So if you're interested in Dave, if you wanna learn analysis a little bit more, definitely tune into the live streams Monday to Friday, and you will see me do some more analysis, of course, on pairs for London and New York session. Of course, thanks. No worries, dude. No worries. I hope it made sense. Basically, what you want to look for, right? What you want to just look for, the most important things, right, is trend, number one. How do I make this bigger? Right, trend. You want to find a nice trend, right? Not nice. Find clear trend. And it doesn't have to be a trend that has been trending for a month or weeks or trending for 6 months. You don't have to find a pair that's trending for like a long amount of time, right? You just want to find a clear trend in a clear direction, just like this one here on gold, right? This is a clear trend, right? Even from this point to this point is a clear trend, right? Because we made that price is in that downtrend, we broke it, we made a nice support, and then we broke the highs again over here. So that would just mean, again, straight away, a clear trend, right? So this is what we're looking for. We're not looking for something that's trend. You're not looking for something that's like, you know, oh, look, we have this whole trend right here. This is clearly trending down at this point. Obviously, we can use that, but you don't have to look for big trends all the time, right? And now we have this trend right here. This is a trend for me. This is a downtrend now on gold for me, right? Just because we was in that uptrend, and now we've broke this structure, this whole structure. We've retested it, and now we're creating highs and lows and highs and lows. We are in a clear downtrend now on gold on the lower time frames, right? Even if it's a short-term downtrend, we are in a downtrend, and it's something that we can take advantage of, something that we can look for sales with, right? So a clear trend, right? Find a clear trend. Follow the trend, right? Have you ever heard of trade the trend, or, oh my god, my typing is terrible. Trend is your friend, right? Follow the trend. Trade the trend. Trend is your friend. Always just trade the trend. Don't try and call tops bottoms. You know what I'm saying? Why is it doing this? Okay. Look for ways to enter the market following the trend. Okay. So now you just look for a trend, a clear trend, and then you follow that trend, and then you look for ways to enter the market following that trend, right? So that could be whatever way you trade. That could be on pullbacks, it could be Fibonacci, break and retest of levels, MAs. I don't know, there's so many different ways, but the way I like, my preferred way to enter the market. What is happening? Why is it doing this? My preferred method of entering the market is daily levels, right? This is my preferred way. So daily levels, and that just means putting this indicator on your chart, right? This is not an indicator that tells me when to enter a trade, buy or sell, if it's going up or down. This is not an indicator that tells me when or where to trade, right? This is just an indicator that helps me easily plot daily levels. I can easily just go onto the daily chart right here on the daily time frame, and I could easily just go, okay, here's my daily high, here's my daily low, and then go back to the 30-minute, right? And then I have them right there. You know, very easy. I can do that, but this indicator just allows me to look at that and do that on the 30-minute time frame or 1 hour time frame or whatever time frame I want, so I don't have to keep going back and forth between the daily and the weekly and the 4 hour. I can just stay on the 30-minute time frame and do all my analysis while I'm here. So again, what do we have? We have previous daily low, which is also previous weekly low, which could be interesting. And what you would want to see again now is just price come below, close below, and then you want to break out, right? And that's all I'll be looking for is closures below 1747555 for sales next week on gold, right? Closure below for sales, right? This is all I'm looking for on gold. Closures below this level for sales, because I'm just trading the trend, right? I'm not trying to call if price is going to turn bullish from here, or we're going to see a big move up or whatever. I'm just looking at this chart and I'm going, okay, price is currently trending down from the daily perspective. We're breaking lows and respecting highs. So I'm just going to look to follow that. I'm just going to look to follow that trend. And that is it. All right. That is it. So, yeah. I think that is it. What happened to the music? But yeah, this will be definitely something to keep an eye on the dollar index, to see where these pairs are going to head next week, especially gold and euro USD. If you trade those pairs, keep an eye on the dollar index right here to see if we break out this level or if we tap on it and continue bearish. It would be very interesting to keep an eye on. But with that being said, I am going to call it there, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I will be live tomorrow again for some pre-London analysis. We'll see how tomorrow opens. We'll see how Asian session goes, and then we'll jump into some pre-London analysis tomorrow, 1 hour before London market opens. I will go live on YouTube and Twitch, and we will do some quick analysis for the day and see where to go from there. But as of now, this is what I will be looking at, and this is what I think will happen, just based on market structure, what has currently happened last week. So yeah, that is that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, guys. Peace, 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 peace. Peace out, peace out.